So, Mary, obviously one of the significant decisions in the movie is not to show the daughter. It was interesting watching the film about 5 minutes. It was like, oh, we're not seeing her. This is how it's going to be the whole film. Tell me about when you made that decision in the process.
That was one of the first conceptual creative decisions I made. That's first draft, first page decision. And there's two reasons for it. One is conceptual, which is that this movie takes place completely in Linda's point of view, and completely in Linda's reality, emotional reality and actual reality. And in that reality, she's unable to figuratively see her daughter as a human being child, that she could maybe have a relationship that has joy in it with. She can't derive any joy from this relationship or have a normal mother-daughter relationship. So I decided that if she can't see her in a figurative sense, I'm going to make that literal. And then the other one is a little bit calculative, which is that once you introduce a child's face into a scene, because of who we are as human beings, unless you have no soul, your sympathies are going to go with the child. And I needed, in a very radical way, to have the audience be with Linda, even with all the things that she's doing. And with all the things that she's doing, we cannot have we can't know what the daughter looks like. We can't have her face. We can't have her as a reality, or else I'd lose the audience, at some point. So, and then of course it accumulates to an ending that I think has been very satisfying for the audience.
In terms of the practicalities of that, was the child actress on set all the time? So she was. We are always hearing her voice.
Yes, whenever you're hearing her voice, whenever there's a scene between Linda and the child, the child who's played by the immensely talented Delaney Quinn, a dream to work with this child. She was 8 and turned 9 on set. And she was there. She was there. I would never have Rose act against an empty chair. She was there all the time, and I think it shows in the performances.
Well, Rose, to your point, Mary was saying how the film is very much from Linda's point of view throughout, and it's emphasized by the fact the camera's quite often always in your face, and you're often frequently isolated in the frame. There's very few shots that you're sharing with another person. How does that inform your performance, knowing that you're just locked alone in the frame in each scene?
Well, I mean, on the first day, Mary and I spoken to this, the camera was so close. And I did say, oh, you're going to be that close? Oh, really? She went, yeah. Yes, I am. And then that was that. I never asked it in. But I could hear the tick of the film.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to know the camera department very well. I felt like we were a team. But it's a technical, there was a technical aspect to it, obviously. But as soon as I understood this was the language, I just went with it. And, I've done it. I didn't, but as an audience member, when I saw the film, I was taken aback by the visual language that Mary was using, which I obviously knew, but to see the finished idea was so exciting and really took me on a journey away from what I was doing in many senses, because the language is so powerful. Yeah.
You have to be in such a profound state of agitation through so much of the film.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
She's agitated. She's relaxed. She's hanging out.
Just having a glass of wine.
Right, exactly. Kicking back. But getting to that place, what was your preparation? Did you have a playlist that you went to? What was on it? So I know.
We did actually. Mary put a playlist
We did make
together,
a playlist.
Yeah, we did. So that's always fun. I love, I remember like mixtapes, that you would make for your friends. But Linda is absolutely from that generation. Yeah. And in terms of the tension, it was technical in a sense. We very much sort of mapped it out, and because it's also a very visual thing of like seeing her self-destruct, and by the end kind of looks like this unkempt teenager zombie who's walking around. So it was fun, like figuring out that look, and then we had an incredible rehearsal period where we really got to emotionally track it. So and we shot this in 27 days. It was not a big budget. It was, but we loved it. We just sort of dove in, and Mary was very protective of the performance. So I always felt like I knew what I had to do, and then we would just start every day kind of checking in, and then jump off.
Can you share what was on the playlist?
Well,
You probably
it
don't
ran
remember
the
me.
gamut.
It ran the gamut.
Between Guided by Voices, there's definitely Sex Pistols on there.
The Harry Nilsson.
There was a Harry Nilsson. There was AC/DC, or Akadaka, as you call it. There was, Linda is a new wave punk person, but she can rock. She can get rocking too.
Conan, you were on 2 episodes of Dr. Katz back in the day.
That's right.
I
love that show. I love that show.
Very
deep
as a
cut.
patient.
As a patient, yeah.
Right. So here you went to the other side, the therapist side.
Yeah.
How did that earlier experience inform how you approach it?
I think my whole career has been the evolution from Dr. Katz,
There we go.
an animated short for Comedy Central, to this magnum opus. I think when I read the script and when I knew that, and I got to meet Mary and we talked about it, and then I knew that Rose was involved, I took it about as seriously as I can take anything. I think it's one of the things that people may not know about me is I come across as a very silly, erratic, foolish person, and I take that very seriously. Mm-hmm. And I am capable of really buckling down and working hard. And I didn't want to disappoint these two. I really wanted to live up to how great the script is, all the work and vision that Mary had, and then Rose. I mean, she cannot take a compliment, but I'll just come out and say it. Please, I love a compliment. Yeah, I don't think you've tried to compliment me yet. Just give it a shot someday. But I think I will say it. I think she's. I've long been in awe of her. I know very few people that can play comedy as well as Rose, but also take you anywhere she needs to take you. And so I was intimidated, to be honest with you, that I was going to be doing this work with Rose, and that helped me take it even more seriously. So you put all that together, and I thought, get really scared.
What's so interesting about your role is you're the one person in the film who doesn't really want anything from Linda, apart from to be left alone, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
Everyone else is constantly demanding something from her, wanting something from her, and you don't, and that lends an interesting dynamic to your scenes.
Yeah, it's really fascinating, and I think it is the opposite of who I am. On my way here today, walking in New York, I was stopped by a bunch of people on the way who wanted to tell me stories or take a picture, and I do anything they want. If they ask me to make them a cake, I'd probably try and get. That is my instinct, and then multiply that by 10,000 because it's a scene with this person I really admire greatly, and then my job is to not give her anything that she wants, and that was extremely difficult, but that's the job.
Mary, the film's coming out in October. I think it's safe to say this is kind of a horror film in a lot of ways.
There's horror language I employ, for sure.
Right, exactly.
Definitely.
I mean, we've seen a few horror films that deal with the issue of motherhood. How do you hope this sort of speaks to that? I think it's sort of a subgenre in horror, the horror of motherhood.
Well, this I think fits quite differently into that list of films because the central horror is a existential terror. That really sits on top of like the idea of trauma, and the idea that if you have trauma and you try to run away from it, you can't. It's going to get you. It's going to get you the same way Michael Myers is going to get you. It's going to get you. You can't run away from it, and it's that thing of like wherever you go, there you are. And Linda tries to escape in all kinds of ways through the movie, alcohol, drugs, psychotropic breath work, trying to get her brain away, and then physically running, physically escaping. She cannot. And that's the horror part. And so I think that's what makes it different, is that it's abstracted out from the literal horror of being a mother to its horror of a central trauma.
We do a segment called Award Survey where we talk about films that maybe didn't win an award and should have. So for horror films, is there a seminal horror movie or performance for three of you that you think should have won an Oscar?
Oh, wow.
I always go to Freddy Krueger and Robert Englund. I think he deserves a
I
Best Actor
mean,
trophy for that performance.
That's one of my favorite movies
Right.
ever.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
You looked at me like that was...
No. That's my adoring look.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You go on the
My wife gets confused a lot. I look adoringly at her and she says, I'm telling you the truth.
I would agree with that. That's a great one.
That's a,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a hard question.
Was Ellen Burstyn nominated for?
For The Exorcist, I believe she was. I don't
Yeah.
think she won for that one, but yeah.
She won.
No, she didn't win. I think she was nominated.
She was nominated. Yeah.
She should have won that.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Let's just go full Exorcist. The Priest.
Yeah.
Did he win?
Ooh, no, I don't think he won either. Yeah.
Should have.
Right.
Well, because I think it's freaked everyone out so much they didn't even want to watch it for the
What
Oscars.
about The Shining?
Ooh, yeah. No, The Shining didn't win anything either because it wasn't liked when it first came
The
out.
Shining should have
right.
won
was
Best
Jack
Picture.
Nicholson nominated?
I don't believe so.
Oh my God,
Really?
that's
I
shocking.
don't believe so. I'll have to check. I'll have to fact check myself.
That is
pretty
shocking.
wild if he didn't get nominated.
I knew
Oh my
that it
God.
wasn't liked when it came out.
Right.
Oh, really?
I knew that because also Stephen King didn't like it, and so he would go on. He went on Letterman and said,
He did?
he did. Yes,
Oh, that's
he
cool.
did.
Cinema lore. I didn't know
Yes,
this.
and
Oh,
I
wow.
believe he said I handed Kubrick a grenade and he let it explode on himself. What about you?
The Vanishing.
Ooh,
oh,
yeah.
The Vanishing, I
That's a
thought,
good one.
is one of the most horrifying
That's-
movies of all
a good one,
time.
yeah.
And I mean, it addled me for a long time
Terrifying,
afterwards.
terrifying.
And there's very little overt, there's no monster necessarily exploding out of someone's chest. It was just going for the most primal, someone's missing and you don't know what happened, and then
Yes.
it cranks up. But I will say this as one of the things that I find so fascinating about this film is, and I'd say this even if I wasn't part of it, there is so much debate. I mean, it's a great piece of art or a great optical illusion. You keep looking at it and you see, I think it's a triangle. Wait a minute, I looked at it again and I see a square. Now I see a triangle. Now I see a square. It's so fascinating because I can see this as being somewhat part of a horror genre. I can also see it just being, it has a lot of comedic elements. And then there are times I look at it and I say, this is just a straight dramatic piece. And my opinion will change 6 times in one day, which I think is a real testament to what this is.
Right. I definitely wanted to break down one scene in the movie that stuck with me, and that's the scene where the Danielle Brooks' character abandons her baby at the office. And
Yes.
we have that. It's a really ugly scene. What's striking about that scene, it's one of the few scenes where the camera is a little wider, and we do see more of the space around Linda. Tell me about blocking that scene and making that scene work. And Conan, you have a different role to play in that scene too, because that's when you sort of come to Linda and try to
yeah.
help her. So how did you approach that scene, and what's the significance of that scene in the overall movie for you?
Well, first of all, Danielle McDonald. I just had to correct.
I'm sorry, Daniel. Thank you.
What I did that I don't know if other directors do this or not, but before every scene, I sort of did a thing where I would block out. I would perform the scene physically to block out the scene for the crew, and so for that one was going up and down the hallway. The hallway, to me, I always imagined the hallway in the therapy suite as like a spaceship. Like, speaking of Kubrick, it's white. It's got the white noise machines lining the thing. It sounds like shh. The paintings, if you notice, are white.
Right.
And it's sort of this liminal space, but it's not. It's a real space, but it's a space that exists between Linda's office and her therapist's office, really, in Linda's reality. So that's the function of the hallway. And so I decided to make it that way. I go wide on it to employ some of that horror language. It was reminding me of, in Halloween, the scene where she's she's running for her life, and as she runs by each house, the lights go off, which is, to me, one of the most terrifying parts of that film. It's like, oh, nobody wants to help me. There's nobody. So when Linda is going, first she realizes that Caroline has left, and she made a major mistake by letting her go to the bathroom. Major mistake.
Never go to the bathroom.
And then she has to realize that, and then I also employ some horror stuff too, where when we haven't seen the baby yet, and when she lifts up the blanket, it could be anything under there, but it's really just a little tiny newborn baby who's red in the face, upset. And so I widen the hallway so that we can see the terror of her sort of looking in each door and not being able to find anybody, but who's at the end of the hall? This guy who's supposed to save the day, right? And he doesn't even open the door all the way. And in fact, I don't want to give it away, but does not help.
Yeah.
Does not help.
It's that famous, I guess, AA saying that going to my character for help is like going to the hardware store for milk. It's
100%. That's 100%. But it's all she's got. It's all she's got in that moment. And it's, for me, it's a little masterpiece within the film. For me, I think we worked on it that hard.
It was a lot of moving parts, and it was, anytime you have a newborn baby on set, it is very...
And it was an actual newborn, too.
It's very delicate. You have to be quiet. You have about 5 minutes. It's very... changes everything. So, and the stress of the scene was through the roof. But yeah, it's very funny when she says, go to the bathroom. It's amazing. Like, oh no.
She's like, don't. And I want the viewers to be like, please don't go.
No. She's got to establish that she is completely...
And you fall asleep.
Yeah, she falls asleep. I mean, she crossed over to the other side at that point.
Yeah.